Hi, everybody. Welcome to a program of Lutheran Campus Ministry, Syracuse. My name is Jim Bresnahan. I'm a retired Lutheran pastor. For over 50 years, I've been a supporter of LCM Syracuse. Currently, I serve as chair of the board. We support and oversee the work of our Lutheran chaplain. In this presentation, you'll hear from former Lutheran chaplains at SU, now retired, and you will also hear from our present chaplain, Pastor Gail Rena. The work of Lutheran Campus Ministry Syracuse has been going on for over 100 years. Through that work, students, faculty, and staff have grown in understanding themselves as servants of God in this world. They've been led to understand career not as job, but as vocation. A calling from God, who is compassionate and just. I'm thankful to all who have made that work possible, and especially the chaplains who have served here. We're in process this year and after of honoring the Lutheran chaplains who have served us here in Syracuse. It's part of what we call the Chaplains Campaign, to honor the past and to secure the future. Today, we bring to you former Lutheran chaplains at SU. We hold them up with gratitude for their work among us. In less than a minute, you will hear from them about years past and about their life now. You will also hear from our current Lutheran chaplain, Pastor Gail Rena. At the end, if you would like to know more about Lutheran Campus Ministry Syracuse, please visit our webpage at lcmsyracuse.org. Again, that's lcmsyracuse.org. Well, sit back now, watch and listen as you hear from some of our chaplains, past and present.
Hi. Fritz Lampe here from Flagstaff, Arizona, and retired, having a great time with my wife Diane and our two golden retrievers, doing a little bit of traveling, doing some writing, and just hanging out. I was a Lutheran campus pastor at Syracuse from 1999 to 2006. I went on from there to serve campus ministry briefly at University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and also here at Northern Arizona University. And so of my 30-some years of pastoral ministry, 14, 15, 16 of those were engaged with campus ministry, being with students in different places. My time at Syracuse was so important. I came from Alaska, had been an associate pastor there for a number of years. And when I got there, there was a tradition of gathering at Berkeley Drive on Wednesday nights. And we continued that. It probably changed because I was there and we had students coming and going and that. But essentially, we'd throw open the doors, have food out, games out, cards, things like that, with a football table out on the porch. And students would just come in, trickle in. Sometimes big clumps, sometimes little groups, sometimes one-on-one, but often with others. And that's what we did. Just gather, fellowship, a break from the week. And then sometime, don't remember when, but it was time to change. We had a ritual, a sacred moment in the midst of the food and the games when we'd light a candle and people would gather around. It was never a circle. Sometimes it was 5 people, sometimes it was 40. But people would hold hands, lights would be turned off. And with that single candle burning, kind of check in with everybody. How are you doing? How's your week? You okay? Hey, I haven't met you. What's your name? Yeah, okay. And then, for what and for whom shall we pray? Was my question. Let's pray. Silence. Just letting those prayers roll around the room. And at the end of song, an amen. Go in peace, serve the Lord, thanks be to God. Some would stay, some would leave. But that was an important time. Some came just for that, some came for the whole evening. Varied every week. That set the tone for student leadership. That was the second piece of Syracuse, but also at all three campus ministries I worked at. Just students, turn them loose. Here's the job. Here's what we need done. Let's figure out how to do it. Go for it, and then keep touching base. And all of that set the tone for my third memory of Syracuse, which marks the most important piece of why campus ministry. I was at Syracuse on 9/11, and Syracuse is important, unique, because it's a part of the chaplaincy of the university. And so I was there with my Episcopal, Muslim, Jewish colleagues, Baptist. A light was on in the chapel, but the general lights were turned down, and we were on the steps throughout the evening for hours, just sitting with students, listening, being a presence. And I've had students over the years, we've been in touch through social media, saying that was the most important. That's when I connected with LCM, or that was one of the most important moments in my life, to know that you were there, that the church was there. Campus ministry is about walking with students during tumultuous times, and that was a big one. Being present, celebrating the good stuff, grieving the pain, but being present, walking with, engaging with the questions, being honest, apologizing for nothing, but just being present, being engaged, being. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening.
Oh, 3 minutes. Good luck with that. We retired in 2014, I think. Grandchildren, cared for them. Me kind of on my own for a little while. And I realized pretty quickly I could not do that by myself. Called my wife at work and said, "Listen, Liz, you're done. This is a joint operation. There's no way I can do this by myself." And we have kind of had them ever since, both for daycare and for school drop-off or pickup. And now they're at the Zuma Academy, and she is the headmistress, and I am the ancient tech guy and sexton, and we're managing pretty well on a good day. I mean, we were supposed to be living in Provence, but that's not where we are at the moment. And that's pretty much been it. Couple of weddings, not nearly enough care of my fellow clergy. I have not subbed. I haven't done what I should be doing. And I feel guilty about that, but I'll be okay, and so will they. Oh, dear campus ministry, my golly, what are you going to say? I mean, 10 tons of love. Recruiting Fritz Lampe on a gorgeous midwinter day in Syracuse, blue sky, 55 degrees. Fritz says to me, "I've heard the weather really bites in this city." And I look him right in the eye and I go, "Oh no, Fritz, in the winter it's always like this." And he came. Yeah, so I got my fellow clergy to forgive me for not filling in, and Fritz says, yeah, he's blamed me occasionally, but not that much, really. My time as a chaplain interim was filled with death and life. I mean, Pan Am 103, 9/11, the loss of an absolutely wonderful young woman filled with music and life. I mean, think about it. That's what campus ministry does. It connects us in a way to the real world that we never left when we came to college, but we also help to interpret that and to engage that and to be together mourning it and celebrating it. I mean, that's my hope for campus ministry in the future, is that we continue to make those kinds of connections that keep us on track, faithful, caring, committed not only to one another but to justice in the world, And that's 3 minutes, and I'm done. God bless all of you. It was really good to see you, which of course I didn't do.
Hi, I'm George Koch. From 1994 through 1998, I was a Lutheran campus pastor at Syracuse University, or as they like to say, the Lutheran chaplain at Syracuse University. I worked out of an office in Hendricks Chapel as well as out of our house, 100 Berkeley Drive, where we had a lot of our campus ministry meetings. It was a very important time in my life to be there, and important for our students as well. I would have stayed there a lot longer, but in 1998, the ELCA asked me to be the regional director for campus ministry for the Midwest, a territory that covered from northern Michigan up by Lake Superior on the north, to the Kentucky border in the south, to Ohio-Pennsylvania border in the east, and the Mississippi River between Minnesota and Wisconsin in the west. I enjoyed that ministry too, although I had to live vicariously with the students because I was working with the campus pastors directly, not the students themselves. I loved my time as a Lutheran campus pastor. When I came, the program had been dormant for over a year and we had almost no students to start with. I'm glad to say that we were able to build up the student body to a sizable number. I'm glad to say that we began the Syracuse University Lutheran Student Association, or SALSA. We began a peer ministry program. I'm also happy to say that as a chaplain, we reached out to the rest of the community. For the 4 years I was there, I did grief counseling and ran a grief group for students of all kinds. When the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City was bombed while I was there, and they initially blamed the Muslims for it, I was there to be of assistance to our Muslim friends. And indeed, after that, had a Muslim student that I regularly chatted about religion. So ecumenical and interfaith journey is part of what we do. I'm happy to say that campus ministry has been a big part of my life, and that working with young adults is very important. From studies by Raleigh Martinson and others, the time of having an adult other than your parents to be there, whether it's in high school or in college or in camps, is an important part of your faith journey. I'm happy to have been an important part of the faith journey of the students who are at Syracuse University.
This is Paul Bosch. I've been chaplain at Syracuse University in environmental sciences back in 1960 to 1979. And those were very happy years. I left Syracuse in 1979 to become chaplain at the so-called 5 colleges of Western Massachusetts. The University of Massachusetts at Amherst, Amherst College, Smith College, Mount Holyoke College, and Hampshire College. And that was a big package. I found it too much, so I fled, quite frankly, to University of Waterloo and Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, Ontario. Waterloo was a lovely community about 50 miles to the west of Toronto, and it's the high-tech capital of Canada. It's kind of like Silicon Valley. A lot of high-tech stuff. All of it, or much of it, coming out of the University of Waterloo, which is the MIT of Canada. But it's the granddaughter university, the mother, so to speak, of University of Waterloo is Wilfrid Laurier University, which used to be Waterloo Lutheran University. And there's a small seminary there, which is the grandmother of the whole business. First the seminary, then Wilfrid Laurier University, then University of Waterloo. In any case, the seminary was right across the street from the home that we bought, and I taught for the last 6 years at the seminary and had a lovely time there. That was much fun. We had classes in my home, as a matter of fact, and used my home for receptions for the seminary. And that was very satisfying. I taught worship, Christian worship, presiding and leading worship, church architecture, a whole semester course in church architecture, a semester course in church music, hymnody, a semester course in church drama even, and spirituality. It was lots of fun. And then I retired and I've stayed here, although now I'm living in a lovely retirement home, and it's called Luther Village, but it was built by Missouri Synod, and it's very well managed, and I must say I enjoy it thoroughly. I still remember my days in campus ministry, particularly Syracuse, with lots of affection, and I do hope that we can make that a living thing, and don't let it die. You know, these are tough times for the church, and Syracuse needs support, and I hope you'll be able to give that support to Syracuse campus ministry. Thank you.
Greetings. I'm Pastor Jeff Kane, and I have the pleasure of serving as Associate Chaplain and Development Officer at Lutheran Campus Ministry Syracuse. In that role, I have been working with the board and Pastor Gale to begin our chaplains campaign, honoring the past, securing the future. Part of this campaign will be projects involving each one of our full-time Lutheran chaplains. And so I would like to share with you Pastor Paul Bosch's book, Wonder, Love, and Praise. This collection of sermons, paintings, and reflections is so new that he didn't get a chance to share it with you in his video. I am happy to say that it is now published by Lutheran Campus Ministry in his honor to recognize his time at Syracuse. For all of those who are part of Lutheran Campus Ministry, Syracuse University, and the Syracuse community, if you are interested in learning more about Pastor Paul's book, or would like to receive a copy, please contact us directly at jkane@syr.edu or grina@syr.edu. We would love to hear about your time at Syracuse University and Lutheran Campus Ministry. We are also planning our future projects and would welcome your ideas as the Chaplains Campaign works to honor each of our full-time chaplains. Be well and peace.
Hello, I'm Pastor Gail Rena. I'm the present Lutheran chaplain at Syracuse University and SUNY ESF. I have been here for 13 years. This is my 14th year of ministry here. I love it. I know that this year has been very different than any other, as you know, in your own lives. We have not stopped our ministry. In the middle of March through the end of August, we did leadership Zoom meetings, we had online meditations, we had services that were shared, and we reached 687 contacts through that time. And now the students are back on campus and they are thrilled to be here. We have changed our worship style. It's more meditative, it's socially distanced, but people can come, and it's also shared online. A meditative mode has a music and other chanting where they can listen rather than sing. And I'm so proud of our students, because normally we go out to the community and do in-person tutoring for refugees whose parents can't speak English, so they need extra homework help. We actually pulled it off and are helping these young people online. It's really wonderful. We're having socially distanced socials whenever possible outside so we're blessed. And I would like to share now, turn it over to Ross, who is one of our students who's been active for many years.
Hi, I'm Ross Chua. I am a grad student in the audio arts program through Newhouse, and I have been at SU for 5 years, and I've been involved with the Lutheran Campus Ministry since my freshman year. Started attending services the first week of school my freshman year, and started getting involved with campus ministry leadership the following year as a sophomore. I've helped with the music. I've volunteered with Gail at the Atonement Church downtown. I've helped with their social media and their recording of services. And now I'm Pastor Gail's personal office assistant, helping her with this project as well. And one thing I think is very important about this ministry and campus ministries in general is providing that sort of safe space for students. And I think Hendrix in particular does a really great job of that, because they truly are a place for all people, as their mission statement says. You know, they accept so many different chaplaincies, so many different faiths, as well as a sort of more secular-based spiritual guidance with a lot of their faculty and a lot of the events that they put on. And I think that provides such a great service to the students at this campus.
Hello again. We are at the end of our program. But before we say goodbye, I want to thank our Lutheran chaplains for this wonderful time together. It is a great gift that you gave to us. I want to thank Syracuse University for allowing us this opportunity to honor our Lutheran chaplains. And I want especially to thank you for the gift of your time spent with us. You can keep in touch through our website, lcmsyracuse.org. Please visit us to learn about our many programs. And now, goodbye and peace be with you.